answer. No, I make nothing but I say.
Last night, saw the man again on TV, and he said, between two thoughts, the space that exists between two thoughts is infinite possibilities. Between two thoughts exists the infinite of possibilities. You know, that's like reading Benedict Spinoza, that if a thing looks like something to you, perceived by others as something else, well, the thing has taken on many dimensions. Okay, how am I going to use that? How am I going to use Deepak Chopra said that between two thoughts exists infinite possibilities? Okay, now that you have said that, I want to know, how am I supposed to process this and put this into a meaningful formula that I could improve the quality of my life? Because if what you say doesn't support life, then why should I listen to it? I live life. I don't live philosophy. And as far as life is concerned, the one thing you must do, which we all should do, is know what to put in your mouth. All the other philosophical structures, they mean absolutely nothing. Because now what you're eating is making you sick. And in the state of disease, what is the state of your mind? What is the state of your soul? What is the state of your spirit? You see, we never seem to couple that, isn't it? But we're going to do that now. We're going to try to do this. We're going to come here and we're going to show you something that our fathers and mothers didn't have to know, but you better know it now. And then the professors, they use it against you. And it happened to me in Washington by a lady by the name of Dr. Steinberg and Dr. Glove. This lady was used to imposing herself on black people. Because we're limited, you know, slaves, what could you know? Well, this particular day, something occurred in D.C., which a child had sickle cell anemia. The child was sickle cell anemic for 2 years, and she was only 2 years old. She was born with sickle cell. She was traveling. The father snatched the baby out of the hospital and hit the girl in Silver Spring. I began to treat her. 2.5 months later, close to 3 months, the law caught up with us. The police came and picked me up at 2010 Kendall Street Northeast, DC, the community warehouse. And they got the father and the mother. Now we find ourselves in the hospital. Dr. Steinberg, upon noticing that in the 3 months that I was treating the child, I made a log of everything she ate. She noticed this one particular thing. I didn't give her killer protein. Boy, did she jump on it. I noticed here that you didn't give me killer protein. Protein? She said, yes. I said, Dr. Steinberg, are you sure that you want to rest your argument on protein being the base of the premise? She said, yes, unless the great Dr. Sebi believed that protein is an unnecessary food. I said, I don't know anything about protein. I said, you forgot something. I'm the child of that that you call Africa. And we didn't know anything about protein then. Do you? What is protein? Protein is one of the 19 amino acids, the building block of life. I said, Dr. Steinberg, that is the response that I get from everyone, that protein is one of the 19 amino acids. But the body needs acid. What could the body do with acids? The body is composed of 102 minerals, not one acid. The body is alkaline. The body is carbon-based. I said, furthermore, being that the body is carbon-based, it is electrical. It moves. And there could be no movement unless that movement is electrical. Now that we understand that the body is electrical, the food that would feed an electric body would necessarily be electrical. How many electrons per atom does protein contain? I don't know. But you use protein as your premise. You should know all about it. Do you know that Dr. Steinberg didn't know about protein? And do you know that nobody in the audience knows about protein, neither do I? And why should we know about that? Because they told us that protein is a necessary food. And we believe that. And we begin to consume those things that represent protein. So I said to her, I am forced to ask you another question. What is sickle cell anemia? She said that sickle cell anemia was a disease that was acquired by black people 10,000 years ago in the jungles of Africa. And that our blood went through mutation. I say mutation 1,000 years ago. But 10,000 years ago, we didn't know you guys. You were never in our environment 10,000 years ago. But you said that our blood went through mutation, that's the cause of sickle cell anemia. Dr. Steinberg from the Georgetown Pediatric Hospital in Washington told me that. Now, the newspaper wasn't around to hear what this woman who's supposed to be a professional woman is regurgitating. So, I said, what is sickle cell? Mutation. I said, but I have a brother that goes around the world and he preaches things and he says things in reference to food and nutrition. His name is Dick Gregory. He said at Camden Hall that God gave us sickle cell to fight malaria. Well, since I know for a fact that God didn't tell Dick Gregory that, he must have gotten that statement from your brother. And the statement that you're giving me is also from your brother. And there are two conflicting statements. One says, God, you says mutation. I'm confused. I say, it's neither God nor mutation. It's the deprivation of iron. Iron fluoride, vegetable iron. Ever since we were removed from the diet that was designed for us in the jungles, as they call it, our body has been deteriorating 500 years ago. Here we are. We're eating food, we call it. Sure, we eat food, but are we being nourished? You see, there is a difference with food and nutrition. Food electrifies the body. Nutrition drags you down. I mean, food drags you down. Nutrition builds you up. Here it is. This is what our parents didn't know and didn't have to know. That is number 7. You see, we live in a mechanical world now. And they have made mechanical everything. Everything we eat in a supermarket is mechanically made. That stuff is naturally made. So we expect to get from it food. We want to be nourished. But you eat, and you eat some more, and your body says, you better eat some more because I'm hungry. we didn't know is that we weren't feeding the body, we were feeding our stomach. The 7 represent pH. pH means what? It is the concentration of hydrogen. Ion. That's pH. pH only means the concentration of hydrogen ions in a substance. If that concentration is below 7 and it is 6.9 right here on this side of 7, below 7, if it's 6.9, that substance is already acid. So as you go down the scale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The closer you get to 1, if you take a substance that the hydrogen concentration is only 1, you're going to die in about 2 minutes. If you take one that is 2, you may live a couple of days or so. If you take one that is 3, you may live a week. If you take it straight, anything with a pH of 3. And do you know where garlic fits? Garlic fits right here. 3.3. Garlic is 3.3 on the hydrogen ion concentration scale. But we eat garlic. Why? Because we believe that it is good. We believe that it is good because somebody told us it is good. But we didn't have anyone to do the research, the in-depth research. You see, our research is concentrated historical, historical. It's paleontology, archaeology. We spend time with that. But we didn't spend time with the most important part because we didn't know the part it played. But if you take garlic and eat it, it wouldn't kill you right now because the hydrochloric acid is going to break down much of it. It has an acid known as the oxide of allyl, A-L-L-Y-L. This is a very dangerous oxide. If you take garlic and you put it on a bullet and you shoot someone in the leg, he's going to die anyway. The old folks know that if you take a knife and you put garlic on it and you cut someone, they're going to be poisoned and they're going to die. Why garlic is acid? Because it's laboratory made. Anything that is laboratory made has a pH of less than 7. Garlic. Cow milk is 6, not too bad. Still acid. Tofu is 4. When you eat tofu, let's put cow milk here. All these things we're going to put under acid. When you eat tofu, what tofu will do to you is this. Tofu will enter the body and begin to rob your moisture out of your body. Rob your moisture. Besides robbing your moisture, it's going to rob you of your oxygen. Why? Because tofu is starch. Tofu was made during the year of 1825 Is it? By Grigor Mendel. Download this name. Put him on the acid side. Mendel. Grigor Mendel. You download him, and he made every beans to eat. So now, as we look at this tofu business, we find that it is so acid that Mr. Eddie Murphy, first fiancée, her name is Fashawn. She came to me and she said that she was anemic, and she showed me her hands. They were yellow. I gave her Maya, I doubled, I tripled. My hands are still yellow. I said, girl, could I study your case for a while? I took a week. I said, could you come to Florida? She did. The tofu had delivered sulfides in her body. And that sulfide would eat your iron. So I had to remove the sulfide. And the only way that I could remove the sulfide from her body, I had to give her something known as what? Sodium fluoride. That's come from a plant called the blue vervain. 2 days later, her hand was pink because of tofu. Do not, under any circumstance, give this to your children. Milk or the pulp. It is extremely dangerous. So now, why is it that we are subjected to this side of this pH scale? Because we have no connection with mama like the elephant did, right? So now, the man that put us over here, he knows that if we eat it, we would always be under his control because we can't see. It's like putting diesel in a gasoline car. It's not going to run too far. So, why did this happen? Why didn't he continue? Why did the man that brought us over here didn't eat this, which is these are natural grains. Amaranth, teff, oignon, quinoa. Why did we have to go over here? What reason? Is it that the people that eat these things are acid just like the thing they eat? Well, listen to this carefully. There is a book written by Mr. Pablo Arriola, isn't it? How to Get Well. In page 190, he stated that if your ancestors are European, your body is programmed to digest milk properly. But if your ancestors are African, your body is not so programmed to digest milk. So he's telling us there is a difference, and we have to be careful, because that difference plays havoc on your life. It does things to the family. It divides you. You think it divides you from your wife? No, 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 no. It divides you from this. It divides you from this. You're thirsty. I mean, you are thirsty. You want to drink water. And you have to drink this water. But from your hands to this bottle, you're suffering with rheumatoid arthritis. Pick it up. You can't. Telling you telling us that we are divided within ourselves. Why? I have rheumatoid arthritis. I can't pick it up because my fingers are hurting me. Now, what are the chances between you and your loved one? If the chances of you divided is so easy in yourself, but the chances with you and another is greater. You see? Why? Because we've been eating this. Starch. Brothers and sisters, starch come after you in different forms. You bring it in spaghetti. You bring it in rice. Cane juice has the highest concentration of starch. What starch does to the body? It clogs the body. It obstructs. It eats away on your knees, on your hips, where by the time you get to my age, your knees are like, hey, you gotta watch it, because it hurts. It hurts you. It's painful. And you don't know what to do because the doctors are not telling us the truth. Because my knee used to crack when I was 30. But that all left. So now we want to know what could have happened. Well, as far back as we know in all the historical books and the religious books, they claim that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. That's what they say. But if this is so, that the herbs are for the healing of the nation, why is it that my brother, who was a Christian preacher for 30 years, when he got sick, he went to the doctor to get an injection? What was happening in his brain that compelled him to turn his back on God Almighty that he worshiped, to go to a doctor? What could have happened to my brother? When my mother came and said, hey, you have to go see your brother. I said, Mom, this man is a preacher. This is the position you wanted me to occupy. You asked me to be the preacher. I tell you, no, I want to be something better than that. She said, what? I said, I do. My brother, he jumped the gun. He said, I'm going to be the preacher. But he was cruel. He was very cruel. He used to beat his children really bad. One of his child ran away young. And he became the preacher, preaching to people of the gospel. But yet, when he got sick, he went to the doctor and he died 21 years ago. I, who he said was the sinner, that was okay with me. Bunch of folks. I'm a sinner, and I'll take that like that. But why am I the one that is carrying out the mandate that he should have carried out? Well, because I didn't go to school. I became an engineer, and they wanted to know how do you become an engineer not going to school. I said that was easy. On the job training. So now that we know that the pH scale showed that anything above 7 is alkali, right? So you put acid over here, alkali over here, alkalinity represents electricity. The body is electrical. You cannot heal anyone unless you raise the resonance in the body to vibrate, to fight the disease. You want energy, you want strength. Chemical doesn't bring energy or strength. That can only be obtained plant that is natural. But since in our world, they give us peppermint over here. Peppermint. They give us comfrey. They give us aloe vera. These are plants, right? They are plants. Well, what's the difference with these plants and this one? What is the difference with these plants and this? These are alkaline. But in their state of alkalinity, something else occurs with a natural plant. A natural plant sends its root into the ground. This is the root of the plant. This is the soil. A natural plant sends its root sometimes 5, 6, 7 inches of feet, sometimes 200 feet in the ground. And as they send the root into the soil, the natural plant, being that it is electrical, it converts the mineral from the soil, from a solid state to a liquid, digestible substance. Scientists call that, according to Edward Schultz, iontrophoresis. Iontrophoresis? Boy, what a word. Yes, you got it. Iontrophoresis. Iontrophoresis is the conversion action from a natural plant to it, from the soil to it. But an artificial plant like carrots, I'll put carrots over here. Carrot or any one of these plants, they do not send their root into the ground 4 and 5 feet, 2 inches only. Why? Because they cannot convert the minerals from the soil into their body and electrify you, because they are made in a laboratory. You know, it's like a paper bag that is made of paper, and you throw it on the ground, it rains, the sun, it rains, the sun, it recycles again. But if you throw plastic, it stays there for 1,000,000 years because it's made of starch. Nature doesn't receive what it didn't make. Nature only received into her bowels that which she made. So now we should begin to ask the question. If we were not eating from this side, what state are we in? You see, this is why the little time that Lisa Lopez spent on the journey of healing, she went on the fast, and she said that when she came from out of the fast, she said that the only giving should be compassion, because she could see the deficit that we're living. We cannot get angry at no one or anyone, because we all are recipient of the adulterated sperm. We were born sick. We do sick things to each other. Did you hear what she said? Did you hear what he did? I can't believe that. No, you can't. Because you're thinking that the level of morality that we live eating over here continues eating this. Now, how could it continue when we're eating hog and lamb? Some of us claim not to eat hog, but they ate lamb, not realizing that lamb is more treacherous than pork. I asked my mother one day, I said, Mom, why is it that they have Jesus with a lamb in his arm? You see, does the lamb represent some righteous virtue, humbleness and meekness? This beast was made in the laboratory. God or nature didn't make any lamb. But we believe that. And we had to believe that. Why? Okay, think about this. All the way from the continent they call Africa, all the way over here, 4,000 miles to America. Do you think the something wasn't lost? I mean, look, I know for a fact that there was much that was lost. When I was in Los Angeles, at 31, 32, 35, 37, I was hobnobbing with the revolutionaries. I was a good Christian. I was a good Muslim. I like to be a good everything. And I love Islam like I love Christianity. I love everything. I love everyone because it's easy for me that way. If I love you, I feel good. But if I hate you, man, I'm going to feel bad. Every time I see you, I'm going to feel bad. So I am not going to allow you to take body into a state of such. This is important. As a merchant seaman, I had an encounter with a white man. His name is Bert Bowles. I said, Bert, the engineer said you should not overflow the evaporator anymore. He said, nigger, you don't talk to me like that. I said, what you say, Bert? Nigger? Say it again, Bert. Nigger. I said, Bert, it sounds good. Say it again. But Bert didn't say it. So I repeated. I said, Bert, you're not going to say it again? Well, I'm going to say it, Bert. Nigger. Didn't sound good, Bert. You say it. And he looked at me and he realized that the word had no place in me. About a few weeks later, we were aboard the ship. He was stealing everybody's property. So everybody went to the captain and told the captain he was a thief. I said, Captain, Freddie, Bert is not a thief. What? I heard he said he called you a nigger. I said, why don't you call him a nigger? I said, words, no place in my life, Captain Freddie. Bert is not a thief. Come on. I took him down. I said, Bert, do you have a wallet? Yes, Bowman. I have your wallet with your picture of your grandmother, your wife, and $200. And oh, and I have your camera. I said, Captain Freddie, that's a thief. That was 1963. I left that ship, went to California. I became a healer. 1989, a group of lawyers in New Orleans called my office in New York and said that they wanted to pay me $3,500 to come to New Orleans and pay my plane fare and also my hotel, and explain to them how was it that I won this big case in the Supreme Court. Oh, we won a case, and we're going to go into it to let you see what we want. Well, I don't have to tell you Nuwaubians that because you guys have no fair. what I got from Melvina and Denise. Melvina and Denise are two women that were down there, sisters that were down there. And I listened to them. I knew about Brother Malachi York. I knew about him because I know him. As you know, he's a beautiful brother, a very intelligent and smart man. But I don't join. I don't like to join things because they're too, something about them restrictive, and it's, I don't know, I was uncomfortable. But when I heard Sister Denise and Melvina, I said, you know, I want to be a member because I'm by myself. Like I'm useless. I'm not a member of any family. Okay. I went back to New Orleans where I shipped out, and I told my wife then, I want to go to Union Hall because I used to be a seaman. When I went there, I saw much of the seamen, many of them, and who did I see? When I'm walking back to the automobile, a dirty, dirty, dirty white man is coming towards me, so I stepped out of his way and I kept on walking. Then I heard, Bowman! And I turned back. He said, this is Bird. This is Bird. You're my only friend. And he's crying out, you're my only friend. The man that called me a nigger is saying I was his only friend. But there was something that's gonna come out this white man's mouth. And I don't know how he would have figured this one out or fathomed this or whatever. He said, I knew I'd see you one day and that you're gonna come and heal me. I wasn't a healer when I was a merchant seaman, but I got Bert to be cured and his family. Now here is the son of the slave that is treating the son of the slave master. All right? What does that say to the son of the slave master and the son of the slave especially? What is that message that I went into my pocket? His brother just gave me $3,500 last night for telling them how I won the case. Now I have to give Bert like 500 of those to buy some shoes. Now what is it about that act? That's us. That's always been us, the so-called black race. We have never offended one. And this white man called me a nigger, but he had to eat those words, turned back and said, I was his only friend. That's us. We as a healer, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Healer, all of us are, especially those women, they are the nurturers. We are the nurturers. Now, we're going to go into a bit of history here that we can understand more about this journey of healing. We already know, as we roll it back into the jungles of Africa, we didn't have to know anything about hair because all we had was over here. So we just lived without no clothes, punching no clock, no school. We didn't have no school. And we didn't have this. Paper. You see, to make paper, you have to cut some trees down. And after you cut the tree down, you have to make a machine to pop the tree. Then you have to make another machine to suck the oil out of the ground, to feed that machine, to pop the paper to make the paper. But look at the mess we're making. But we can't fathom that state of life, living. We can't even understand how was that possible. But it was possible because we lived that. Well, as far back in history as we go, the herbs are for the healing of the nation. They didn't have to tell us that because that's how we live. But Hippocrates came, the Greek, he found out that these African people weren't getting sick. So why are they not in a hospital? They have no hospital. There's no grocery store. There is nothing. But he watched what they were eating. He goes back to Greece and began to use that particular principle, modality, or whatever way. And he was curing disease in Greece. He established the school of medicine, known today. But Hippocrates, when I was arrested, we're going to go into the case now. While I was in jail, I was laughing because I wanted to know what defense would they have against me. You see, I traveled with the best of the philosophers and the religious people. I was never inclined with that, but I was inclined to pursue, because of the energies of life navigating me to this point. But I like it. But I didn't want to be it because I'm vulgar, I'm loose, I have no discipline, I'm lazy. So all these things is me. But that's okay, I love it. This is why I didn't want the position. And I made a statement in New Orleans in 1962 that I wanted to give the black woman a gift. Why I selected the black woman? Because in New Orleans in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, you talk about a black woman, it was like you talk about some horrible being. They even call you Sapphire. I said, but why do we talk about her that way? And she's our mother. I came out of one. I said, I'm going to give her a gift. I was in a barber chair in the shop. I didn't know the gift was going to be healing, but the gift is healing. And what the woman has done in healing, I've never done. So I know that you all have the capacity because you all are the nurturers. Healing requires nurturing, right? Okay. So now Hippocrates used herbs. And if we go to science, science shows us that the only substance that could assimilate is a carbon-based substance. That's a natural plant. So that's why I was laughing in jail. I wanted to know what defense they were going to have against me. But I had one ace in the hole that has never been used. Now we could use it because we got it. We won our case. While the judge, I'm again with the physicians because I know they were helpless. I know they never had someone like myself in front of their face, but I'm going to rub it on the nose. The judge said, Dr. Sebi, the physician, no, would you please begin? I said, where do I begin, Your Honor? Begin where you say that you have the cure for AIDS and the physician claimed that there is no cure. I said, the physicians are 100% right. There is no cure for AIDS or any other disease. They are right. The judge said, but I have a newspaper here that says, you said there's cure. I said, oh, that. That is a horse of a different color. She said, how does that help me? This sounds like a contradiction. I said, maybe to you, Your Honor, but I'll clear that up. I agreed with you, the physician making the claim that there is no cure for AIDS or any other disease, because the perspective that prepared the physician, his education, his discipline, his modality, doesn't cure anything. So when he said that he doesn't cure it and there is no cure, he's right from his perspective. But from my perspective, there is cure for AIDS and every other disease. What I just did is to bridle the court. Remember what I did. Look what I did. Physicians are right by their modality, but by ours, there is cure. So what is the question that the judge is going to ask? There's only one question. What is the difference? Oh my God. When the judge asks me, what is is the difference in the perspectives. Dr. Victor Herbert, who is head of the Veteran Administration, jumped up and said, I beg your pardon, another perspective? Your Honor, we all know that the allopathic is the only one that complements. Dr. Sebi, what do you say? I say, not so. What is your perspective? The African biomineral balance. The doctor said, I've never heard of such a thing. I say, he's right again. You have never heard of the African biomineral balance. But we have to remind the good doctor that he have not heard of a whole lot of things, and the African biobalance only happened to be one of them. What is the African biobalance opposed to the allopathic? The allopathic uses chemicals. The African biomineral balance, not so. Use a vegetable. Why? The body is carbon-based. So we differ in substance used, but we also differ how we perceive disease. The allopathic claim that you're multiple disease. When you have pneumonia, you have AIDS, you have diabetes, you have 3 different diseases. Not so. There's only one disease. The doctor jumped back up and said, I told you this man is unscientific and ignorant. He said that. I said, Your Honor, he's right. I'm unscientific. But if we have to use science as the measure or barometer to reverse disease, science already had 500 years. They have not cured one. So what do we find in the African biomineral balance? It has reduced disease to one common denominator, mucus. And we proceed to remove the mucus from the system by using an electric cell phone, natural plant from the forest. Upon doing so, we nourish the part that was aggravated most. Like if you come to me with cancer of the bones, where I don't have to put too much emphasis on the blood or the brain, it's on the calcium in the bone, right? But if you come to me with sickle cell, I'm going to clean the body, putting emphasis on the blood. But if you come to me insane, I'm going to clean the body and put emphasis on the brain. That is what we do. An intracellular chelation. That is the African approach to pathology. Opposed to the European, which is the allopathic, is multiple disease. So you see, the FDA now jumped in because the FDA saw we were getting the advantage. We are not going to allow this man to practice or to sell his compounds because we don't know what's in them. The judge said, well, let me see. So he goes through my record. He said, well, this man doesn't show signs of recalls. On the other hand, your physician, there's always a recall. So what I think we need to do here is this. You're gonna have to raise your level of understanding of herbs to his, not he drop down to yours. Dr. Sebi, you could use whatever herb you find fit in your repertoire. But the part of this case that really hit home was when the FDA said that I couldn't sell the product. I said, the FDA is right. I should sell my product. They know the food that is consistent with our gene structure. The judge said, what do you mean by that? I said, you see, Your Honor, in creation, you will not find a gorilla in Alaska, nor a polar bear in Africa. And you will not see a gorilla eating the food of a polar bear because he doesn't eat blood. Nor the polar bear eat flowers and plants. So when you remove the black man from Africa, did you bring his food with him? No. They said no. Now you're talking. You see, now we are getting home. We are seeing that it is necessary for you and I. This is why I'm so happy that I became a member of the Nuwaubians. Why? Because to Melvina and Denise, I could see the fire, I could see the sincerity, I could see love, I could see togetherness. And I have never been a member of anything that displayed that to me. And I said that I would like to be a member to bring to you an added component. And you, I became a family to you. So naturally, from now onwards, I have to be more careful in conducting myself. Because I see how you conduct yourself. And I admire all of you that I've met. I heard of you for years. But I was traveling to Africa, South America. I didn't have time to sit down to do anything. I had to run around and take care of a whole lot of business. I find myself having to see presidents over Africa. But I know I was abreast of what you were doing. But the day came that the opportunity presented itself in which I am a member now and I'm going to comply with all of the requirements. I told Melvina, if we could take this worldwide, we would be the only organization or family or nation in the world that provide the healing for the world. You have it. And we don't have to be angry with people, you know, hey, we got the goodies here. You have to behave yourself now because they cannot go around saying that there's no cure for AIDS. Now we're going to come to that part. AIDS. We said there's only one disease. Right? Well, with AIDS, where is the mucus? It's in the skin, it's in the blood, and the lymphatic system that makes up the immunological system. That's where you find the mucus. They are looking for virus. I was on the Tony Brown Journal. You know the Brown Journal, right? Well, I was on there when the year after I won the case, and there was a young white man who was on the panel. He said, well, I can't make a statement such as curing AIDS or any disease. I said, you're right, because you haven't, but I can. And he did not like that. What I'm seeing, that you and I now, the cure of the world in our hands, whether they like it or not, we now have to know how to project this, how to work with it, but we have it. This is what I want for us, the right to practice the medicine of our fathers, which is what? Nutrition, not medicine. Electric cell food. We want that right. We also want the right, and no one has ever taken the privilege to act on it. You know, when I said that when they removed the black man from Africa, they didn't bring his food with him, well, why can't we go to the schools now and demand that they put in the schools the food or the nutrition consistent with our children's gene makeup? We have that right. We have that right. But Sebi Carson didn't do it. And I was at the Rayburn building in Capitol Hill on the year 2004. Mr. Michael Jackson going to take me to Capitol Hill because he said that he had a gift for Africa. He said, Sebi, you want to go? I go. Well, I shouldn't. When I got to Washington, boy, big crowd. I mean, Michael is famous. My son told me, and I made a mistake. I should learn to dance and move my fanny, and I make billions. You curate, they give you pennies. So I went with him, and they went into this building. There are all these people, they were ambassadors. There were 17 African ambassadors. Sheila Jackson Lee, when she came up to my wife, she said, chocolate people with silver hair. I said, wow, look at the description she gave. Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas, right? The Black Caucus. Then there is Mr. John Conyers from Michigan. And the 17 African ambassadors. And there was Jesse Jackson Jr. from the House of Appropriation. And there was Leonard Mohammed from the Nation of Islam. And I'm talking to them. And I gave them the proof. And do you know that the same response that I got in Africa from the president, I got it from these brothers that day. You didn't hear that it was cure for AIDS, right? Well, how come Leonard Mohammed didn't tell Minister Farrakhan? How come Mr. Jesse Jackson Jr., who is a member of the House of Appropriation, didn't tell them that it was cure for AIDS? Because they claim that they are looking for the cure. But we have the cure. What's the problem? So what the problem is this. Like the German told me in Germany, in Munich, now that you have proven that you cure AIDS, who do you expect to support you? The world, I said. He said, that's where you're wrong. German doesn't cure AIDS. Chinese doesn't cure AIDS. Neither does Americans, but you, the black race, cure AIDS. So who should help you? I said, the black race. He said, what? I know and I feel that you will be the only person to help this thing. Not me, but the entity of our forefathers. You can't support to help me. I'm part of you. I'm you. We are projecting an entity that is ours. That's going to support our life, makes us feel better and live with peace. They didn't tell anyone. What's up with that? Now, should we force their hand? No. We're going to go about doing what we're doing all the time, right? We don't have to force anybody's hand. That's okay. But now they are faced to answer to the public of the world because there's a website. There's Cure for AIDS. What do we do now? We just sit back and see Africa die. One ambassador came to me from Mali. He said, we need you. But that was the last I heard of it.
Son, stop playing. Learn the language, homie. Tune up. Yeah. In the hands up. Nuwaubians, Nuwaubians. Until to for me. Pare, Jaju Sanu, Nena Home, so Wakazi, he again, Hador, Yakutaka, who's near we only reform. Wakagunga, Kiawi, only support, Hotel Sanu, Chanti, only Haji Pare, the Urihago, Karosa, Ulia, Kiati, only beat Madora, Black Na, Roba, Kiali, Usida, and the Udina, Wakador, Manu, Kiati, Urikadora, who's gone to we are Ugi, Musora, one Kalapa, Kiati.
But he loved her. He loved her all the time. So why did he stop speaking to her for 16 years and she lived in the same house? That is what starch does to you. Starch divides you from yourself. It divides you from your wife. Starch. Look what's going to happen. C.C. Charles started crying. Why? Because he felt that he did something wrong, but it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. So many of you sisters blame us for our behavior. That it's not us that's acting, it's that starch. And vice versa. Vice versa. Sometimes sisters does things that you just have to wait. You can't really charge her with any penalty. Because starch is interfering. Because C.C. Charles, he was booing. But 3 months later, he called me and said, could you treat my wife? Because she needs help, she's 62. Fine. 6 months later, they were on a honeymoon again. So the essence of this, what it shows, to be obedient to the food that came with creation. It brings peace. It makes you smile all day long. It makes you love everyone. You know your place, because I know that I am from the continent they call Africa. I don't know if that's what we call it, because we didn't have a name for it. We just lived there, right? Because when we lived there were no ABCs to be any vowel sounds. We just lived. And do you know that there are people in Africa today that has no language, but they live. They live. They didn't have to write any paper and study in a dictionary. It was just like, because you could read all the books in the world and you eat the wrong food, you will be sick. But if you eat the right food and you never read a book, you will see there is a difference. But we have to read the book back to that state. We have to go back and read those books, get back into the state of seeing. This is how we could digest this. We are electric people. We are carbon people. And you know something about us? Because of the concentration of carbon, we grow organs and cells back. Glands back. Zadia Ife from New York. She had myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is the degeneration of the cells of the brain. But it paralyzes you. Prior to her coming to me, they had cut her thymus glands out. She took the treatment. 6 months later, she went back to the doctor a year later. The doctor said, your thymus gland grew back. The gland grew back. Where we grow glands back. We grow breasts back. There was a woman from Augusta, Georgia, who was brought to me. Her breast was rotting off. Her husband used to pull pieces off. But from behind that rotten breast, there was coming another one. You see, we have yet to understand the power of these herbs because we were taken away from them. But now we begin to pass back. There's a little boy that's in Los Angeles. I went to give a speech in a church on Hoover. And the little boy came up to me, and I'm looking at him. He said, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi. Yeah. I'm Baby Sebi. Baby Sebi? He said, yes. They named him Baby Sebi because from the day he was born, all he had was his mother's breast. And at the age of 3, they give him sea moss. We would eat it raw. The boy, when he went to school, they couldn't put him in kindergarten, they put him in 1st grade. And when he got to the 2nd grade, they had to put him in 3rd. The boy is, look, he's strong, never been sick. So his mother and his father never had to spend any money on sickness or pills. So we want to do that. We want to now develop a healthy nation, not a sick nation. And to develop that healthy nation, we have to omit all of this. But you will see the benefit, because in classes, I promised Melvina that there is a system. There are some sisters in Philadelphia that cook the best food. I was in her house, and she knows about you too. Both of them, because when I talked to Beverly, I said, Beverly, do you know anything about the Nuwaubians? Oh yeah, they come to me all the time. Oh yeah, and the young man was here last night, he's one of them. I said, I didn't know that. They come to her to buy the herbs, and they have a big conversation. I said, good, I'm gonna join them. She said, if you join them, I'm gonna join them. In fact, I met a young lady from England. Her name is Karen. She makes some of the most beautifulest jewelry. She says, Sebi, yesterday I was at the table with Melvina, and she said, well, I'm going to join too. So there's a lot of people that knows me, that know that I'm not a member of anything, and now that they hear that I'm joining the Nuwaubians, they're going to want to join too, because they're going to figure something good. You know, when winter comes and sometimes, because I'm around November, the heat is not on yet, and it's laying on the sofa, and it's about 8 o'clock at night, and you're lazy to get up, and your mom will come and pull that cover on you. It feels good, isn't it? Because she came and she put this warm cover on you. You feel clothed and protected. Oh, Mom just did that for me. But that is how I feel with you in WhatsApp. That is asked of me from you, that is required for me to do, it is done. I thank you so very much. That's the end of the lecture. But now we're going to come to the better part of the lecture. I made compounds especially to analyze and to cleanse. One of them in particular, we have here, that you see there. They were made to energize and to treat the central nerve system. There is a policeman by the name of Mark. Mark come by and he buy the bento, and he said, Dr. Sebi, do you know that bento, since I've been taking the bento, I can't make an arrest. I went to a family squabble. You know what I did? I said, what? I asked them to allow me to go in the house and sit down. And I began counseling the man and the woman, and I left, and everything was all right. He said, I can't be doing that. Because the viento just chilled him out. Then he go to Lamont Park, where there's a bunch of brothers gathered, talking whatever they was talking about. He said, you all have a bottle of viento. Our brother pull up, we already have ours. So it is there. We also have a salve that is very effective for your knees, pains, and whatever it aches. It's there. So we put these things together, knowing that we left our food back home. So I traveled back home, and I got herbs, compounded, and they're working. Because like many people have seen me many times do something that at my age you shouldn't do. But I fell one day off of a ladder on my knees, and I couldn't. I said, well, how come I didn't feel any pain? I fell off the ladder on the floor, which was, this is nice, this ain't concrete. But I didn't feel any pain. I said, now what? I said, I just fell on my knees and I don't feel any pain. So I fell again. I didn't feel any pain. That's what that sea moss will do. But we made the sea moss and some other herbs in a tablet. I took 3 of them this morning, and I know I'm going all night because it gives you a lot of energy. So please, you purchase that if you can. Are there any questions? First one. Verlago. She asked about Verlago. You know, I have not been as successful in the past as I would have liked to be with Verlago, but in the last 6 years, I think I found the answer. Yes, it's the lack of iron. It's carbon being lost because of iron that supports it. Next question? Yes, ma'am. Then you, right. The black dress. Blood clots. We have the dissolved blood clots. Potassium phosphate. We have the lily of the valley that breaks up even hard tumors and corns. It breaks a blood clot. We have a composition known as the tonic electro. We have a mini package that will break it up. Not only break it up, but to thin the blood and purify the blood. You, ma'am, or sir. Oh, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good for what? Fibroid. The question is asked, what is good for fibroids? What are fibroids? Fibroids is the accumulation of what? Toxins. Starch begins the process. And they're small, then they get larger and larger, and then they burst. When they burst, they spread. They call that cancer. So what we have is a product that begin to reduce the fibroids as they came. And at some point, they roll out. A woman came to us from New Jersey with 14 fibroid tumors. Gloria Walker. She was never supposed to have a baby. She has 3 little girls. Yes, sir.
2. Diverticulitis and sugar.
Diverticulitis. Are we going to the colon? Yes. That's right. And sugar. Well, I suppose that I could talk about the sugar. Diverticulitis I didn't have, but I had sugar. I was diabetic, which made me impotent at 30. I was diabetic at 27. And what the man did was to de-obstruct my pancreas, and that's exactly what I'm doing today. Diverticulitis. Well, we have something that is very extremely bitter. We call it chelation 1. And it will remove polyps and inflammation, which is diverticulitis. Inflammation of the colon.
Okay. I had ordered the intensive care should be for me Monday.
Yes, sir.
And, now for my, that's for me for the diverticulitis, but for the sugar will the bowel 1 and 2.
No, but they could have sent you another little package with the package for diverticulitis for the pancreas. From Jenny. Well, I'm going to talk to Jenny because she should have, if you had tell her that, she would have sent you with the same package.
Well, it's not for me.
Oh, I understand now. Yes. Yes. Diabetes. Now, when your bones are brittle, you need calcium, right? But when the islet of Longepon's and the pancreas are all obstructed, what do they need now? Chromium. Because the pancreas chromium. Unlike the bones, calcium, and the blood iron. Each part of you is made up of a mineral. This is why when they give you vitamin, what are they doing? They're only injuring us some more. I want to make sure that we would not be injured anymore, especially our family. Our nation can't be healthy, has to be healthy. Has to be. Yes, ma'am.
What should I be eating for osteogenesis imperfecta?
What should you be eating for what?
Osteogenesis imperfecta.
I've never heard of that.
It's a hereditary bone.
Well, there again, if we are addressing the bones, what mineral are we supposed to think about using or replacing or treating? Calcium. So as I fall on my knees to show how your knees could improve 74, you don't have to feel any pain. We have that CMOS plus other products. First, we have to remove the inflammation that causes the disease in the first place, then give you the mineral that has been offended or depleted by the presence of the disease. Next question, sir.
All right, yes. Dr. Sebi, I was spoken with your daughter, for about the past week, I've been breaking out with some kind of rash that looks like welts. It comes out like 6 times a day. And I've been to the doctor, I've never had no kind of disease, nothing ever. Everything I've tested. And everything is supposed to be clear, but I keep breaking out with these welts. I don't know.
When you bathe, do you find that sometimes you have to run out the bathroom? Because you're itching?
Yeah.
I had that. I had exactly what you had. That's nerve. That's nerve. I used to break out with whelps.
Yeah.
I used to buy calamine lotion.
Yeah.
Man, it's nerve. That's okay. We'll treat that.
Okay, so that ain't going to put my hair changes in that house.
Well, unlike you, I always had a bald head from a little boy. I didn't like nobody in my head, you know. But we have a nerve, a composition, a hair food. I don't know if you have some. No, but we have a hair food oil that we will have here in Atlanta, and you will carry it.
You have to for the nerve.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah?
Most definitely. Man, do you know that I was given a car, and I hate to drive it. Man, I hate to drive this car. Every time I drive the car, people look at me, especially when I got it 4 or 5 years ago. Eddie Murphy, mother, took our compounds, and she felt so good. He bought me a car. A Range Rover. You know, that's an embarrassing car, because people think I'm a millionaire. And I don't like that feeling. Yes, sir. Irritable bowel syndrome. If we have for diverticulitis, you know we have for irritable bowel syndrome. Sure we do, brother. We have that. Yes, ma'am. Gout. Oh, I could talk about gout and kidney disease. I have a friend named Fred Walker. Fred Walker went to Honduras, and he had a belly out here. He couldn't see his other parts for 7 years. He said, man, how about you? And they say you cure diabetes and gout and all kind of high blood pressure. I said, Fred, if you take my compound, you're going to get sick. Very sick. Oh man, come on. I said, okay, take this. 2 days later, Fred was talking about how strong he felt and this and that and the other. And the 4th day, he was down for the count. His wife flew in from Los Angeles and took him back to LA because I'm kidding her husband and I'm supposed to be his friend. And when he got back to LA, the doctor looked at him, they couldn't find anything. So Fred is home thinking about me again. He said, but you told me you're going to get sick, so let me go back. He came back to Honduras. He said, I'm ready. He was the first 2 weeks, he's happy. On the 3rd week, he's groaning and he's crawling. Fred was staying in my hut, in my room. I'm traveling. And I'm crawling. He said, man, I'm hurting. I said, no. I'm crawling to the bathroom. I said, I know. He crawled to the bathroom. Fred was in a wheelchair. Fred couldn't do it. Finally, at the ending of 2 months, Fred no longer had that big belly. Fred no longer had gout. He's no longer taking the 18 pills. His diabetes is gone. His diabetes now is 94, steady without taking pills, 18 pills a day. Yes, this is why, I want to mention this, that this is why I built that center. Because I know that when you reach a certain age and you have accumulated all these different diseases, you need to stay away now. Because the body is going to go into a zone. And the body does things with you that I myself, as long as I have been in this vocation of giving, providing, I've seen things that I never dreamed to see. Here, before I go into the next question, a young lady named Denise de Leon, Washington, D.C. Diabetes, kidneys, and blind. She woke up one day after 3 months of treatment and told her diabetes left, and she told her girlfriend, "That's a beautiful dress you're wearing, that blue dress." And the girl said, "What?" She opened the refrigerator, took what she wanted to take, went back upstairs. Denise lived upstairs. But Denise is blind. So Denise went back to bed. And then she again. She said, "I dreamt I was seeing, but I'm seeing." But she dreamt that she was seeing. She dreamt that she saw her girlfriend in a blue dress. When she came down the second time, she heard her girlfriend telling the neighbor across the fence, "Something freaky happened today. Denise saw my blue dress and she's blind." And Denise knew she was no longer blind. Wait. Denise dreamt, right? So now I'm in St. Martin. A man is in a wheelchair. His name is Philogen Lake. Anybody that's 18 years of age only saw him in a wheelchair because he was 18 years in a wheelchair. He said, "Hey, doctor, you think you could help me?" I said, "I'll try. I never had anyone 18 years in a wheelchair, but I'll try." He said, "Please try." Okay? So the first month, Mr. Stick, who was his friend, would come by and say, "Philogen, how you doing?" "Well, Philogen, how you doing?" And every day he would come by. So one night, Philogen went to sleep and dreamt that he was walking. And that he went in the backyard and he took 3 avocado pears and put them on the dinner table and then went back to sleep. When he woke up next day and tried to raise his leg up, his leg voluntarily did it, and the other one too. He stood up, he sit back down, he go to the back, and there were the 3 avocado pears. So it looked like when you're sick for a long time, in a certain state, nature lets you dream yourself back. You never jump back suddenly. Yes, sister. I can't hear you. What kind of? What about enlarged thyroids? Oh, thyroid. Oh, now thyroid, enlarged thyroid, not fibroid. When we talk about the thyroid gland, we talk about thyroxine, right? But thyroxine is something the body produces, like it produces hormones. Thyroxine is produced by the thyroid glands for the endocrine system to maintain equilibrium and balance, not to mention energy. Now, thyroxine needs a substance that is gonna be converted into thyroxine, and that is potassium iodide and potassium bromide. Yes, we have some. Yes, sister. Do I have a chart to show what? What consists of? Oh, no, I don't have that. But we could do that. You see, let me say this. My wife and I and my daughter has been the only 3 people, along with Jenny, the last 8 years. There's only been my wife, my daughter, I and Jenny. And the letters come from all over the world, but we didn't have anyone to help us. Now that I'm a member and your brother, you could help me develop these things. There are many things that need to be done. But it was only me and my wife, the sister. Start what? Helping? Well, look, that's up to you, brothers and sisters, now. Because I have to start my journey. I have to find a way to compliment you. where it would not be as stressful on you. And likewise, as a family, we do things together. It makes it easy. In Spanish, they have a saying, with two, it isn't heavy. Yes. Thank you. I want to thank you for saying that, because I want to be useful. I was always the little boy that always had these ideas about doing things. I was always in disagreement with everything. So I suppose in being in disagreement, something good had to come up sometime because of the disagreement with everything. Because Richard, my little friend named Kirby Brown, at 12, 1945, with 12, because I was born in 1933. So he said, we left the church, the Seventh-day Adventist church. He said, I asked him, how you like the meeting? He said, man, I didn't like the sermon. I said, why? Because they talk about wisdom and knowledge. I want money. I said, man, wisdom and knowledge get everything. He said, you go after that. I want money. Well, I didn't know what wisdom and knowledge was. I don't know what it is now. Because I don't have wisdom and knowledge. I may have accumulated a bunch of information that I could use now and you could use it. But I'm not wise. So, years went by. 1994, Tom Flowers came to me and said, guess who's coming tomorrow? Kobe Brown. I said, wow, it's been 40 years that I see Kirby. I hope he's a millionaire. But if by chance he's not, I want to remind him that we are alive. Don't need the millions. Because you could have the billions, sick, what difference does it make? But if you're healthy, man, I live in the street, but I'm healthy. Understand? I don't need the money, I'm healthy. So that was a Thursday. On the Friday, Kirby didn't arrive. He had to take a plane to Nuwaubians, and he had to use an axe to cut the door down. Kirby died of a heart attack in his room. Remember what he said? He wanted money. I said understanding. Well, my understanding brought me to 14 years more than Kirby. How much would you pay for 14 years of life? You see, this is why it behooves us to change our diet. It is important. It brings peace. It makes you live longer, but happy. You know, to live long and sick. Oh, come on. That's a deficit. To live long and happy with stress that you could love, especially yourself first. That's important. And that could only be obtained by the food that we eat that is consistent with our gene structure. Yes, sister. Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so.
All down over a certain age when they go for a pap smear, that every woman will be tested for it. And it's like 50% of mostly black women who have HPV. What they don't know what it is, what causes it, and say that it is, of course, there's no cure for it. What exactly, you know exactly what it is.
Remember when I said how many diseases there are? So we have a case where the mucus is in the central nervous system, the muscles, and the brain. But especially there's yeast present. Yeast is present. Yeast is a murderer. Yeast, yeast destroys us, especially the lymph nodes, the lymphatic system. Yes, we do have a treatment for it, unsuccessful one. Yes, the young man with the baby. Were you dancing with the baby? Because somebody had a baby that was dancing and they put the baby down. Where's the baby? There's the baby over there, the little girl. Yes, sir. I was wondering where the baby was while you were dancing. Yes, sir.
Two. One is young people pinch nerves, and is there an amount that you give children in opposition or comparison to adults?
What about the children?
About when you give the children a lower dose of the size of the earth?
Oh, we have special compound for children.
Okay.
Called Banju. Pinched nerve. Well, I could talk about pinched nerve, Mr. Teddy Pendergrass. Remember, he could only see, his nerve was not only pinched, it was severed. But the doctors could not understand. How could they take an extra Teddy and the spinal cord has been severed? There's a big space of 4 inches in it. How could that come back together? Guess what? You cut your hair, right? Does it grow back? You cut your nails? Does it grow back? You crack your bones. Does that mend back? But what about the central nerves? You only have to remove the acids that divide them and they find themselves back through chemical affinity. And when Teddy was moving everything, his biceps and triceps were back, they said that could only be accomplished through cell regeneration. Well, we black folks do anything. Yes. Obesity. Obesity, the question was asked, what is that for obesity? I know I was 291, that wasn't too bad for my height, but I had a stomach way out here. Obesity is when we eat excessively, compelled because we are not being fed. We eat, but we are nourished. So we have a tablet, just came out, that would, like I didn't eat this morning, I've not eaten anything today. I may not eat today. I drank those tablets today. I'm fired up now. So what it does is to break down the fat. It's a diuretic. Also deliver a lot of energy. Iron, phosphorus, potassium, all of this. And you'll be losing the weight like 2 pounds a day without feeling hungry. Yes, we do have that, but that's my daughter there, Kelly. Of course, because you nourish it, you'll be feeding the baby. Of course, there's no chemical in it, so it's not as good. Yes, ma'am. What? Oh, Candida. Yes, that's another yeast infection. Thank you, sir. That's another yeast infection. Sure, we have the Candida. Yes, ma'am. You know, for the last 20 years, they've been asking me for a book, and I kept refusing to write that book. My mother said, why don't you write the book? I said, because there are billions of books in the market, why do I have to add another one? I said, but the book that you're writing is not about you, it's about nature. What most people doesn't know, you have to show us what nature is saying. Is not what you say, because you too was a recipient of that which nature has to offer. The book is being edited now, it should be a minute. You all will get, and you all may be the one to sell it. You like it, that's good. So, yes, sister. Yes. Kombucha mushroom. Yes. You see, kombucha fits over here. Kombucha mushroom is not a natural mushroom. It's an artificial plant. And because it's artificial, you have to feed it glucose. Now, could you imagine God making something that needs sugar? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Kombucha was made. So when you eat that, it was made in Japan. Kombucha was made in Japan. They're telling me to cut, and I want to thank you so very much for, oh wait, this lady here, yes. Cataract. Now there's a man in Los Angeles by the name of Mr. Frederick that was blind for 11 years. He was my first patient. The man was seen in 2 days. And there's Miss Margaret that had the retina detached and bleeding in the eye chamber. She's seeing perfectly well, and Mr. Frederick is seeing, so we could help you. And thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I've been watching you all the time. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know. Okay.
Nagsamasuli akhritu na ramo taraktu lamida Nagfaso hayui kalana Paime kamo Wayatu rabu adortem Mawizu shagul Darus Wanitau Akhiyaku Antuk zaku Sha'ur walu Liadayu Nitki mat Nit agani Gat nisifi Gat nitgat Nitshayu Lakum bayu khat Duma nukwaju Tu anu di umat Hasa tatawili yanu hafuza Hasa nuk atbiu ganu shapuzat
Moaba Jusayu kalutayu Moaba Jua heta segiantu Moaba Liantu nuka wilwanu Moaba
I'm the gun, Korira, Audi Kanu, Dan Sorira, Sabule Kanu, Sunu Satadi, Anudia, Kata, Pazarena, Lam, Wasa, who am, who did Fine, Sofa Shabu Bahaku, Fine, Kamayaku, Lambu Bachatu, Waludan, Kamu Nagaru, Babatu, Wakulama, Hatu Batagu, Hatu Batasro, Ayumanus, Nazan Kamu, Mila, Batama, Karu, Hatu, Manduan, Shila, Maluku, Alazi, Karuku, William, Babado, Banetiru, Karu, Udia.
Moaba Jusayu kalutayu Moaba Jua heta segiantu Moaba Liantu nuka wilwanu Moaba Moaba Jusayu kalutayu Moaba Jua heta segiantu Moaba Liantu nuka wilwanu Moaba Moaba Jusayu kalutayu